This is Wordsworth's reply to a letter by John Wilson that he received in 1802. John Wilson was a 17-year-old student from the University of Glasgow who Wordsworth didn't know, but who had read lyrical ballads and decided to write a letter to Wordsworth. And this manuscript here is Wordsworth's reply to John Wilson in 1802. One of the things he addresses is Wilson's criticism of a poem that was in lyrical ballads, which was called The Idiot Boy, which was a term that was used at the time. And Wilson was not a fan of this poem. He didn't think it was a good subject for a poem to have. And so Wordsworth did not agree with that at all. And so he writes Wilson a letter basically telling him that he was wrong in a sense, and saying that Wilson's inability to see the value of the idiot boy was actually a mistake on his part. It was the words are quite beautifully phrased, which are a certain want of comprehensiveness of thinking and feeling. And this comprehensiveness of thinking and feeling that Wordsworth mentions to Wilson is quite important. First of all, because Wordsworth thought that people who looked outside of their circle, who were open to other people to seeing differently, were also better readers of poetry. Also, Wordsworth thought that his role as a poet would involve teaching these people how to have more comprehensiveness. So it was Wilson's mistake and not Wordsworth's, in the sense that Wilson should have had a broadness of spirit and of comprehensiveness and of looking at others, and that would make him a better reader of Wordsworth. And what's so touching about this letter and what makes it so relevant for today is just this idea that we have to look beyond our circles, try to understand other people, and that's what Wordsworth's telling us. And that was the lesson to 17-year-old Wilson. That would make us better people, but it would also make us better readers. I think that if we read lyrical ballads closely enough, it demands an effort of comprehensiveness, of understanding towards these characters that are these people that Wordsworth is trying to represent on the page. The feeling is often what drives Wordsworth's poetry. It's what gives the characters life, and it is also what grips us to the page, and what makes it so real even today when we are reading it. And making this effort to understand and almost relate to these characters, which are so foreign to us in many ways sometimes, makes us pushes us to think more broadly, and Wordsworth would say makes us better people and obviously better readers of the poetry itself.